Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We still have several great talks and demos for you today. We're only halfway through the day of the 5th Annual Vibrant Living Expo and Culinary Showcase. And isn't this a wonderful venue for a culinary showcase? I go all over the world teaching classes, and I wish that they were all like this, believe me. The closed circuit television, it makes it easy for you to see no matter where you sit in the room. And of course, we have a beautiful kitchen that's fully equipped with lots of assistants ready at hand to help our chefs and show off the very best that they can show off of themselves. And we want that for you. So thank you all for joining us. And I'd like to introduce our speakers, our presenters now. Ronnie and Mihn are husband and wife. They're a great team, raw food teachers, whose film Going Raw, and that was this one, was shown at the 2nd Annual Raw Lifestyle Film Festival in Los Angeles. I was there, and it made a big smash. And now they have a new one out called The Art of Living Foods. Both of these DVDs are wonderful films to see. I highly recommend them, and they give you another aspect of Mihn's fabulous cuisine. Ronnie is an Essene minister, and Mihn is a second-generation raw and living foods chef born in Vietnam in a humble and loving Buddhist family. As a child, Mihn began learning about plants and how to find food and medicine in the jungle. And Mihn doesn't do a lot of talking, although she's talking more and more. I can. So Ron is often her voice, but she has a lot to share with you, as does Ronnie. And I'd like you to help me welcome Ronnie and Mihn.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, everybody come to enjoy my show and enjoy my food today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihn. Thank you. As Sherry said, Mihn doesn't do a lot of talking. She likes to let me do the talking, although it doesn't work that way at home, let me tell you how. But we always like to start off just by saying, first of all, thank you to you for being here today, because we're going to enjoy ourselves. We hope you do, but it's going to be fun for us no matter what. And you're what makes it fun. And we also like to always pay gratitude and respect to Sherry and Dan for having this beautiful facility. Like she said, it's we go around and we do demos, but nothing compares to the teaching and learning experience that you can have here at Living Light, because they have everything set up and ready to go. But mostly we appreciate you and thank you very much for being here today. Just tell you real quick, we have DVDs, we have some little kitchen tools. Mihn will be demonstrating using them today. And we have a website. It's UBRAW, the letter U, the letter B, RAW.com. So we're easy to find. And we love keeping in touch with people, writing back and forth, phoning back and forth. So if you have any questions about food, we'll be happy to answer them. Before Mihn gets going, I just want to tell you a little bit about Mihn, because she is reluctant to talk about herself especially, but she has such a unique story. I want to share it with you. There's, every once in a while, people come upon this earth that are just exceptionally good at what they do. And it could be a musician, it could be a writer, it could be a singer, a poet, anybody. But there's always those people who have a natural-born talent, but they also have the passion to pursue it, and they have the circumstances that allow them to pursue their passion. And Mihn is one of those people. And when you taste her food, you'll know what we're talking about, because everybody experiences it. She just has something special. And her story, real quickly, is Mihn grew up, Mihn grew up in the jungle in Vietnam. She is the youngest of 8 children. Her mother and Mihn and their family, they're Buddhists, so they naturally didn't eat meat anyway as part of their religion. But Mihn grew up without electricity, so she grew up in one of those dirt houses that you see with a grass roof and a dirt floor. They didn't have electricity, and her mother was actually 100% raw all her life. Mihn has been eating raw and preparing raw foods her entire life, with the exception of she eats tofu and she eats steamed rice. But other than that, she has been raw her entire life. So Mihn grew up in this environment. Excuse me, I got something stuck in my throat. Can I get a little glass of water, please? Mihn grew up strapped to her mother, going out into the jungle, the garden, the neighborhood, picking wild food to eat They didn't have a refrigerator. They didn't have a stove. So raw food was something that was just natural to them. Processed food would have been something that is totally strange to them, just as raw food now seems so strange to a lot of us because we grew up, you know, let's face it, eating processed and packaged food. So Mihn grew up in that environment, and because they had such limited resources, she had to learn, and she learned from her mother, how to make things out of just a few simple ingredients and to make it taste good only using these fresh ingredients. So that's how she learned about raw food. Thank you so much. And she's really a master at it. And Mihn, okay, I'm going to let you get started. What are you going to make today?
I will make a papaya salad.
Papaya salad with the
Yes.
coconut noodles?
Yes.
Okay, she's going to make you a papaya salad with coconut noodles. And I will tell you, with all of Mihn's recipes, she kind of wings it. You know, we'll explain what's going on, tell you what ingredients she uses using, but she never makes the same thing twice. She's a true artist. She'll be tasting what she's making because we found that wherever you go, ingredients change. Some things are fresh in some places, and humidity and when you're making things, altitude, all these things have an effect on food. And also for yourself, when you're making a recipe, you can learn from all these great teachers that are here, but the first thing that you should be doing is starting to substitute and change things around for the way you like it. If you don't like sweet, leave it out. If you like more sweet, add some more sweetener. But with all these recipes, it's just a starting base for you to then take off and create your own creations.
You give them input or just...
Why don't you start making it, and then we'll start passing out in a few minutes.
And now I start to just cut for you everybody to see as my kai bao. If you work for 2-3 people in the family, you can do this easy.
Yeah, this is a tool from Vietnam that they've been using over there for about 100 years. Mihn imports them, and we have them available. But this is what they use instead of a food processor or a mandolin, because again, they didn't have electricity. But this will make all the same cuts that those tools will. And that's what she used to make these julienne slices. What she's got in here is a green papaya that she has sliced up the same way. And you could use a mandolin or whatever tool that you feel comfortable making julienne slices. A green papaya? What's another name for the green papaya, Mihn?
Huh?
Is there another name for the green papaya?
I don't have not a name. I just call green papaya.
This is a piece of it that this is this papaya?
Yeah.
Let me show them a little bit. This is the green papaya. It's been peeled. It looks like, I think the Mexican papayas are the reddish ones, if I'm correct. I'm not sure where the green papayas come from. You can get them in any Asian market. Yeah, buy a green one. It's ripe, but it's a different type of a papaya.
So it wouldn't be what I'm growing at home.
No, this is called a green papaya. You can find it in any Asian store. Wild Oats has them. Big supermarkets will have them. It's a papaya that's green. You know, every day are a little bit softer. I think you're right when they're ripe. Mihn, is that how you tell when these are ripe? They're soft? How do you tell when they're ripe?
Right, they turn the yellow. They turn the yellow and they soft inside. It's white. But this one we call young papaya because they don't turn the red one. It's still young. They're still green. We call young and green papaya.
Young green papaya. She said it'll be before they turn yellow and they'll be a little bit soft. You'll find them in the markets. They have them out there. We got it in a local market, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I already did papaya.
So she's got papaya that she's sliced up into julienne slices, and carrot. That's what she's done so far. She's just showing you how she does it. You could do it again any way, any tool that works for you.
At home, I have 2-3 people in the family. They come to eat. I just use this one. I don't use julienne because the julienne, if you use a lot, sometimes it hurts your hand.
She's talking about a mandolin.
Yeah.
They're used to simple, easy equipment. All her food and her whole philosophy is about one simplicity.
You use like that, look like julienne.
Julienne slices.
Yeah, slices. That's
She keeps
easy
it
and not denser.
Yeah, it's very safe. You're always going away from your body.
I always use onion like this.
Little onion. Mihn's food is about simplicity, keeping it simple. It's about vibrancy. She always tries to use stuff as fresh as we can get it. If we can grow it, that's the best. If we can't, we try to get farmer's market. If we can't, we go to a store. And the third one is sensuality. You know, keeping it smelling good, looking good, tasting good. That's really important because that's how you get other people to enjoy raw foods, and that's how you keep enjoying it. So, okay, you got green papaya, onion,
And carrot. And celery. Pepper.
Red bell pepper,
Red pepper. And tomato, fresh tomato.
fresh tomato.
Uh-huh.
Now, Mihn has also, you know, why don't we start bringing some food out? We'll start passing some food around a little bit. Is that okay? Let's do that.
No,
Yeah.
not. And I will make the noodle.
She's going to make the coconut noodles
Coconut
from a young
noodle.
coconut. And that's a little tool, again, that Mihn designed. She went over to Vietnam. We import them. We sell them. We have them downstairs. We have them on our website. Very inexpensive. And it will turn the young coconut meat into the noodles. You can scoop it out without cutting it in half. Yes, yes. Once you got the top of the coconut cut off and you're drinking out of it, you can just reach in there and make the noodles. Now, when you eat this, pay close attention to the tomato that's on top. The tomato on top is a sun-dried tomato that Mihn marinates and dries. And the recipe for that is on this DVD. I want you to taste that first because you'll see what I'm talking about the sensuality of her food. The tomato will let you know what her food is all about.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that
you.
something, the tomato? Now you notice, see this, the key to making this stuff taste so spectacular is to keep it simple. When you start learning how to make raw food, or if you're already making raw food, when you see a recipe or you're making a recipe and it's got a list of 15 or 20 spices and ingredients, it's too much and it's too overpowering. You want to let the food be the star of the creation. And a lot of this food, especially because it's raw, it has vibrant flavor in there. And so you don't need to cover it up a whole lot. You want to have something that's really simple and easy to just complement it. But how about those tomatoes? Did you try that tomato on top? Is that unbelievable? Well, we're going to get to that. So we're going to get to the seasonings right now. Just wanted you to sample it first so you get a real idea what her food is all about. And this is one of about probably 30 to 40 recipes that she has that are really unique because she comes from such a unique environment. Okay, Mihn?
Yes. Let everybody see it and we do it.
We can talk while they're doing that. So she's got everything here in the bowl. And again, you can substitute. If you don't want to use green papaya, you know, try the red papaya that you're used to, or try something else.
Red papaya so sharp, cannot do it.
My wife says no. I take it all back. It's got to be green papaya. All right, Mihn, let's start on the dressing.
Yes, my husband.
You know, Sherry said I'm an Essene minister, and I'm not. I'm a philosopher, not a minister, because I'm not ordained by choice. But philosophy has taught me that there's a philosophical question that if a man is in the woods and he's talking, and there's no one around there, no woman around there to hear him talking, is he still wrong? And the answer is yes. Let me tell you, man. But we just have to get used to enjoy being wrong, and then everything works out pretty good. Right, dear?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Okay.
The first one is right. And do something, talk something wrong.
Okay. All right. Let's see how Mihn puts a dressing together. Watch how simple and easy this is.
We use the lemon.
Squeeze a little lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
And again, you know, if I buy lemons here in California, they're going to taste a lot different than the ones I buy in Arizona. So the amount that we would put in there will change according to how we, our tastes. Right, dear?
Right.
There we go.
And we put a little bit salt, sea salt in here.
Sea salt.
Sea salt.
And with all the food, another thing we've learned is the better ingredients you use, the better your end results are going to be. If you're starting out with a fantastic olive oil and fantastic salt and really great ingredients, your chances for success are going to be a whole lot better than if you've cut corners and you're using some less expensive stuff.
And we use
Black pepper?
brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Now the sugar that Mihn uses, whether it's brown or white or whatever kind of sugar she uses turbinado sugar.
This is terminal sugar,
Which
right?
is basically dried sugar cane. But again, it's kind of like spaghetti sauce or olive oil. Every company that makes it is not the same. You need to read the label. In Vietnam, they actually dried, that's when Mihn was young, they would dry the sugar cane and grind it up themselves. That's what they use for sugar. And we have found there is companies that make good raw turbinado sugar. You just have to seek them out and you'll find it. Yeah, they'll have it. They'll have it.
And we put some pepper.
Black pepper?
Black pepper.
Or you can grind it yourself. If you can't find the granulated sugar, grind it up yourself. Little black pepper. And now this is the milk from the coconut.
The water from young coconut. If you don't have water, young coconut, you can put water. No problem with that. Because young coconut, they give you some more sweet. And you don't have young coconut, you put water and you add a little bit more sugar.
She's using young coconut water. She's saying that if you don't have the young coconut water, you can use water. You might want to add a little bit more sweetener because the coconut water is naturally
Depend
sweet.
you like more sweet or you like not
A lot of sweet.
And this one, the garlic and oil. I chop in garlic, I put in the oil. You keep in the freezer, you can use 2-3 weeks. And they smell so good.
Yeah. Let me translate that for you. This is
Yeah,
olive oil and garlic. She chops up the garlic, she mixes it with the olive oil and puts it in the refrigerator, not the freezer, the refrigerator. And I have to be careful because one time we were speaking and somebody came up to me and they called me a hypocrite. They said, because your wife told me that every Saturday night when I break my fast that I eat beef soup. And I said, well, it's beet soup. Not beef, beet. So I always have to watch what she's saying. She calls the refrigerator the freezer. So this is one of Mihn's little tricks, is that she'll have this around it all the time. And if you ever need an Italian flavor or something garlicky, you just spoon in some of this garlic that's sitting in the olive oil in your refrigerator, and it'll really bring the flavor right out. And it's a simple, easy thing that everybody can do. I'm getting ahead of myself. What are you putting in there now?
I add some more sugar, honey.
Some more sugar.
And after that, you put garlic in there. They smell good in your salad. Whatever salad, papaya salad or regular salad. It's really, really good for smell that.
Yeah, the garlic and the oil will really add a lot of aroma to your salads.
And you can say, everybody smell it, it will be good.
Yeah, they will know.
After that, I add some basil in here.
Fresh basil.
Fresh basil.
Lady just asked how you cut coconuts. We use a cleaver, and we just chop the top. We make 3 or 4 hits on the top, and it will peel off a little square or a little hinge if you use 3 cuts. They also have tools that you can screw in there, but the cleaver works really well. And then we split it in half either with the cleaver or with an axe. Just hit it, the coconut will stick to the axe, and whack it on the sidewalk or your backyard, and it'll split right in half. But with the tool, you can reach in there and get the noodles out without having to split it in half. Dump it upside down and let it pour out.
And
Got
if
it.
you
Gravity.
if you like the spicy or unspicy, you just put a little bit the dried chili and papaya, because in papaya salad you don't eat this. A little spicy, it doesn't take good.
A little spice. She's
Little
putting in
spicy.
some dried
Dried chili.
dried chili. You know the green chilies that you buy in the supermarket? Chop them up, let them dry either in a dehydrator or out in the sun. And then you keep those around, and you can throw those in your recipes all the time. You can use fresh or dried. Either one will work really fine.
And you add some more peanut.
Put a little peanut in there. The peanuts are raw. Some raw foodists don't eat peanuts. Again, put in there what you like, what you want to eat.
That the peanut.
They're raw.
Raw we put. We have to open the.
Yeah, we have to crack them ourselves and get the peanut out of there. But look at the beauty of this. I mean, we can all make salads with lettuce, and that's great. But here's something that you can make up that's totally different. And you don't have to be a guest at your house doesn't have to be a raw foodist to enjoy this. Everybody, even if they're eating steak and French fries, sometimes they'll eat a salad along with it. When you give them something spectacular like that, their senses are going to come alive. Your senses come really alive after you've been eating raw for a while. Then you really see, everybody's agreeing, you really start to taste the food a whole lot more.
And you add the juice in there. And you have to
mix it up.
Mix it up, but you have to, because papaya a little bit hard, so you have to play with them a little bit.
Kind of like kale, you massage it a little bit, and the papaya will get the dressing on there and soften up a little bit. Did we use up all our samples?
Yeah.
We did. Okay. I hope everybody got to have a little sample of that. Oh, good. All Mihn's recipes are about simplicity, and really, you have to taste her food and try it out. She teaches you how to make crackers that are the best raw food crackers you've ever had. She'll teach you how to make those marinated tomatoes, and those marinated tomatoes you can put in anything that you make. I don't care what raw food you make. You throw some of those marinated tomatoes on there, and you're going to taste the difference right away. Breads, she makes breads, crackers, soups. The whole gamut. I mean, her mother were feeding 8 people with just raw natural foods out there in the jungle. And we find also when we travel, simplicity is what really works for us, because some days if we're driving around traveling, we'll eat 90% fruit. And after you've been eating raw for a while, it all seems to agree with us. You have a question? Somebody have a question? Yes. Mihn, when you make this, do you ever mix it? Can you mix it with sesame oil, or does it have to be olive oil?
A lot of oil is better, good in your body too.
But we use sesame oil. We use sesame oil in our creations. But do
we don't use this one. We don't.
But not for that.
No, not this one. And you put a little bit the lot of oil in here.
Yeah. She knows. I tell you, I used to love spaghetti so much. My mom, God bless her, she's passed away, but she used to make me spaghetti like 3 times a week. And then all my life, when I was on my own, I'd be making spaghetti and garlic bread. It was the only thing I really knew how to make. And I had been vegan for many, many years. So I made a vegan version. And I just was addicted to it. And when I met Mihn, we've been married now 6 years together, 7 years. And when I met Mihn, I told her how much I loved spaghetti. She didn't even know she couldn't even say spaghetti. They don't have spaghetti in Vietnam. They have rice noodles, and they make rice dishes, but they don't pasta spaghetti. She had never heard of it in her life. And so I got her a jar of basically ragu spaghetti sauce, and I just said, take a look at this. And she literally, I thought her soul was going to jump out of her body and go into the spaghetti sauce. She was looking at it and turning it around, and I have to say, sorry, Mom, that Mihn came up with a raw spaghetti sauce that even my brother, who eats the worst of the worst diet in the world, agreed it's the best spaghetti sauce we've ever tasted. And the key is, you're using the same ingredients that you would for the cooked version, only we use the raw ingredients and maybe a few little tricks. Because honestly, when you cook spaghetti sauce, is tomatoes, olive oil, and spices. But then when you cook it, as we all know, you kill a lot of that vitality, and especially the flavor, the sensuality. But when you use fresh tomatoes with the olive oil and fresh ingredients, wow. And a little bit of chili pepper gives you that sensation of hot. So it's not like eating a hot sauce, but you still get that warmth in your mouth. And that's the key, is just to use the same ingredients.
sun-dried tomato.
You want to tell how you made them then?
Yeah, you can do it.
I could go. Sun-dried tomatoes are so easy. She always uses Roma tomatoes, and she cuts them in about 1/8 of an inch slices. She'll scoop out the seeds. Then she will marinate them for about 3 hours.
No.
Correct me. No, what did I do wrong?
8 hours.
8 hours. You marinate them, soak for 8 hours? Okay, she soaks them for about 8 hours in olive oil. Olive oil, right, Mihn?
Yeah.
Olive oil, garlic,
Pepper.
black pepper,
Uh-huh.
Italian seasonings.
Uh-huh.
Whatever
Salt.
sells in Italian seasonings you buy.
Salt.
You can buy a mix, you know, in any store, have a mix of dried Italian seasoning.
Garlic.
Salt, garlic, I
Salt,
said
garlic.
garlic. And so it's just the basic Italian stuff. Garlic, olive oil, basil, the dried seasonings. She'll mix it all in there with the tomatoes, set them in a bowl for 8 hours, thank you. And then she'll spread them on a dehydrator sheet, and we'll put them in the dehydrator or out in the sun if we can. But usually the tomatoes you're going to have to put in the dehydrator.
If you put dry a half, you eat only 1 week or 2-3 days. If you keep them dry, look like I do that, you can eat 3 weeks or 1.
Yeah, what she's saying is when you make them, if you dry them out all the way, put them in a glass jar, you can put them in the refrigerator. They'll last for a month. And you can keep taking them out, like if you're making a wrap or anything, take a few of the tomatoes out and put them in what you're making. And then you got these, you know, all week long or 3 weeks long. It makes your creating food a whole lot easier. If you don't let them dry all the way, they're not going to last as long. And even while you're making them, when they're about halfway dry, if you take some out and put them in your salad, wow. I mean, they're really great when they're all the way dry, but halfway dry, they're even better. 1 second. Okay. It depends on where you're at. It takes us about 8 hours, and we're in a really dry climate. It's about where we live today. It'll be 110 degrees and maybe 3% humidity. So again, that's in Mesquite, Nevada. Depending on where you live, about 8 to 10 hours.
So this one.
And you might want to turn them over one time, you know, while they're in there. You had a question. Same question. You'll know. I tell you what. When you start to make these tomatoes, wait till you smell your house. You won't believe it. We always use our dehydrator at the 6 o'clock position, so I guess that would be around 105 degrees, something like that. We turn it to the 6 o'clock position. We use the Excalibur. We find those are the best. They all seem to be calibrated about the same, so when I put it on the 6 o'clock position, I pretty much know I'm not going to overdo it. Yes? These we put on the Teflex. And another thing that's going to make them even better is Mihn will go, when you marinate, there's going to be a whole lot of juice left in the bottom of the bowl. And she'll take that Teflex sheet and she'll put chopsticks around the 4 edges to raise it up a little bit. So that then she'll pour some of that juice back on top and it'll stay in there. And then when you dry it, the tomatoes soak that up. That's one of the reasons they taste so strong. You just got to, I mean, you really have to be around her kitchen to see how she does all this stuff. And the most amazing thing, she doesn't like me to talk too much about her, but the most amazing thing is just like the spaghetti sauce. She will sit and she will meditate. And sometimes it will take her 3 days to get the answer, and sometimes it'll take her 5 minutes. But she will sit quietly, she'll meditate, and she'll be thinking. And sometimes she'll tell me, I couldn't sleep last night. And I'll say, why? And she'll say, I keep thinking about spaghetti. She says spaghetti. And that's how she comes up with her recipe. She thinks back about what her mother taught her. She thinks back about how she would use different ingredients, because American food is so different than what she was used to in Vietnam. The way that they eat over there is really interesting. The way that her family eats anyway is they won't put together a meal like we do. They'll put all the ingredients out on the table, and then everybody can take like a leaf and put on what they want, put on the seasonings that they want, roll it up and eat it. So everybody, one lesson I've learned, and I learned this from a barbecue restaurant of all places. I was in a barbecue restaurant one time, and their big marketing plan was that you cooked your own, you picked out your own steak, and they had the grills there, and you could cook it. And the owner told me one time, he said, you know what, I have never had anybody ever complain about the steak. They all love it, because even if they drop it on the ground, the fact that they made it themselves, it's the best. So you know, when you make food like that, try it sometime. If you're making a salad, just put all the ingredients in different bowls and tell your guests, if you have a few, just say, you know, start picking stuff, put it on there, take some dressing and dip it on, and you'll be surprised how much they're going to love it because they made it themselves. Yes?
Do you have the raw ingredients that you would make sure I can use?
On this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The salad was made from, listen to me, Mihn, make sure I'm right. The salad was made from green papaya, young coconut, carrot, mint,
Basil.
basil, fresh basil,
Basil, celery,
celery,
tomato.
red bell pepper,
And tomato, fresh tomato.
fresh tomato, and you could throw sun-dried tomatoes in there if you wanted to.
Tomato in the salad?
Yes, there's tomato in the salad. And then the dressing, you better help me with the dressing. Lemon juice,
Lemon juice,
coconut water,
coconut water, salt, a little bit sugar, a little bit the pepper,
black pepper,
oil, and garlic.
and that garlic and olive oil mixture.
You can make like that. You use longer. Every time you make salad.
Onion. There's onion, a little bit of onion in the salad also.
Yeah.
But
So mint in the salad is a mistake?
mint is a mistake. That was a man thing. It's basil, fresh basil, which, you know, we grow basil at home on our farm, but basil is so easy to grow in your house. I'm sure you probably all know that. But it's so simple and easy, and it's fun, and it's great. You keep picking it and using it. It's just the best. There's nothing better than to be able to grow a few of your ingredients.
Yeah.
We also show you on this DVD, we show you step by step how to
So-
grow sunflower greens.
So
And if
this
you've
one-
never grown sunflower greens, to add
This
into your
one you
salads,
will
you're
give
going to
some
want to do
people
it.
some
It's the
more.
best. What you need, Mihn?
This one give some people more.
Sure, we can pass it out to some people. Anybody that didn't get a
You want
sample
some more,
or 1
please?
second.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a few more, a little bit
Yeah,
more.
a little bit more. You can
And we can just answer some questions, or if anybody wants to leave, we're pretty much done with the demonstration. Yes.
Okay, I will do it.
Yes. 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 Okay, the sunflower greens. Now, listen to this. It's so easy. And on our website, we have free step-by-step instructions, and we have a video here. We buy sunflower seeds, the same ones that you would feed to birds. We get them at a feed store, and we get the black oil sunflower seeds. They're so inexpensive. You get a bag of like 25 pounds for about $15. And what you do is you soak them, you sprout them like you would anything. You soak them in water overnight. Then after that, you leave them in the container and you rinse them every 2 or 3 days. And as soon as they grow the tail, then we put them in a 1/2 inch of potting soil. And then we put them on a 1/2 inch of potting soil, then we put another 1/2 inch on top of them. And then we keep them just watered once, maybe twice a day. And in about 5 days, you'll have sunflower greens about that tall. The way to tell is they'll have 2 leaves. When they go to 4 leaves, that's when they turn bitter. As long as they have 2 leaves, they'll be super sweet. And I found that they taste 10 times better than wheatgrass, for example. And it's the same chlorophyll. And plus, they look beautiful. I don't know if you can see closely enough, but she throws them in her sandwiches and things. And just seeing those little things growing out of there makes the food taste better.
What's your website?
Our website is ubraw.com. The letter U, the letter B, R-A-W. Like I be raw, so you be raw. You be raw. You can also type in ronnieandmihn.com and you'll get to the same place. Yes, dear. How do we select the coconuts? You know, Mihn might have a secret, but I don't think she has one for the coconuts because it's kind of hit and miss. It's hard to tell. We buy them at the Asian markets because they seem to go through them so fast that they're always fresh. Plus, we have found that at the Asian markets, we can get them, sometimes they come in a case of 9. And we've bought them anywhere from $6 to an average of about $9 or $10 for a case of 9. Whereas if you go to a traditional supermarket, they can be $3 and $4 each. So find an Asian market. It's amazing how, especially the Vietnamese community is spreading around the United States. Go to any town and you'll find a little Chinatown or an Asian market or Asian section. And if they don't have the young coconuts there, for sure they can order them for you. And I guarantee you, you won't pay more than like at the most $12 for a case of 9 of them. 14 that's a good price. You know, different places they have to haul them further. Yes, dear. We will. As soon as we're done here, we'll be down in our booth. Yeah. Thank you. Excuse me? Yeah, oh, yeah, sure. The question was, can I tell you a little bit about the DVDs? Okay. I want you to know that this was a labor of love, first of all, and that anybody who has seen our DVDs will know that these are really highly produced. The whole time we were making these, we were thinking, how are we going to help people have success with this? Mihn doesn't want to be famous. I don't want to be famous. We really want to help people have success with raw food. That's why we made the DVDs. I worked for MGM for 8 years, so I put what experience I had into producing these DVDs. And the first one has some great recipes on here to get you started. Some of them are gourmet and some of them are simple. The spring rolls is like a signature dish of Mihn's. They're a hit for everybody. The other recipes on here, we have green wraps, sushi. We have a fried rice that's not rice and not fried, but otherwise it's just like fried rice. We show you how to make trail mix, and we explain about soaking and drying seeds, what the difference is. We show you how to make a salad, turn it into a super salad. I mean, a really spectacular salad. This DVD has a little bit of philosophy and a lot of recipes. It's about 45 minutes long. This DVD is 1 hour and 20 minutes, and it's a little bit more advanced. They're both excellent. They both have excellent recipes. And honestly, if we could give them away, we would. So when you come down to our booth, especially when we're doing live things, we'll make you spectacular deals on the DVDs. Yes, I'll get you in a second. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sir, did you have a question? Yes. Well, Mihn saves the scraping. She saves all the juice. She doesn't throw away anything. I've got to tell you, there is nothing in our garbage can ever. And she saves all that juice, and she'll add that when she's making a salad dressing. She'll add that to boost it up. Or if she's making salsa, she'll throw the seeds and the rest of the tomato stuff in there. What did you ask me, honey?
Can we sell me some for one?
If anybody didn't get a tomato, Mihn wants you to try it. So she'll come around with them. Again, honest to God, I have given up. Mihn and I, we don't try to convince people why they should eat raw food or get real spiritual about it. It's kind of second nature. People want to hear it like yourselves. You're here because you want to hear about it. We're happy to talk about it. But we do by example. We'll make food and we'll put those tomatoes in there, and then they'll start asking us. And you can do the same thing. Even if you're making somebody a traditionally cooked meal, throw some of these tomatoes in your salad or in something, and believe me, they're going to ask you, what is that? And then you can start telling them, well, I like to eat natural foods, and they'll start to get the hang of it. Same thing with her crackers. If you make her crackers, that she shows you how to make the crackers on the DVDs, you won't believe how great they are. You just won't believe it. We have a garden. It's not a big garden because we travel a lot, but we do. We live in Mesquite, Nevada, and we're right on the borderline with Arizona. So our farm is actually in a town called Littlefield, Arizona, and it's on the Virgin River that comes out of Zion National Park. We're right there on the river, and the things that we grow are the things that grow easily in the desert. Luckily, they're some of the best food in the world. We have 7 different varieties of pomegranates that we grow, and pomegranates are one of the very first foods that man has written that man was eating. We do have pomegranate recipes and show how to use them. One thing I learned about pomegranates, kind of interesting. I found it to be true. I found it on the internet. I couldn't believe it until I investigated further. But pomegranates have 365 seeds. And I thought, that's pretty interesting since we have 365 days. And I thought it was a joke at first, but it's not. They have 365 seeds. Yes. And I researched it on the website from several different sources, and it turns out to be true. I mean, there's always little variations, birds eat them and things like that. But we grow pomegranates, we grow almonds, And let me tell you, if you've ever eaten an almond off a tree, what a treat. It's so much different than the almonds that we have been buying. I mean, they're juicy, they're soft, they're chewy, they're great. We grow a lot of grapes. The grapes love the heat of the desert, and we eat the grape leaves more so actually than the grapes. We just pull them right off fresh, roll them up, we make dolmas. Sometimes in the morning, I'll take a date or a fig and some almonds, and maybe if I have a little pumpkin seeds, and I'll roll them up in a grape leaf. Just go pick one off the grapevine, roll it up, and I'll eat that. Wow. And when you eat something that you just pull off a vine like that, I mean, your brain is telling you this is vibrant, and you feel it. You had a question. It depends on the almond. The ones that we grow are called an all-in-one almond, and it's a dwarf. It's an almond grafted onto another tree because almond trees get so big. Mihn and I are small people. We couldn't reach above the first few branches, so we get the smaller ones, the all-in-one almond. But yes, some almonds do require a pollinator. We do. We have our schedule on our website. We mostly stick around to the West Coast because our farm requires a lot of attention. But I will tell you honestly that our home phone number, our home address is on the website, and anybody that is interested in raw foods is welcome to stop by anytime. If we're there, Mihn would love to make lunch for you and talk about raw food and share our experience. That's just how we are. So, you know, feel that you're invited already. Do we need someone to take care of my farm? The way it works now is I'm taking care of the farm and Mihn's taking care of me. But everybody's welcome to visit and learn. And we also grow cactus out there, or cacti, edible cacti. You can eat the fruit of it. Out in the desert, we grow a lot of mint, wild mint. In Vietnam, how many different kinds of mint did you have out there in Vietnam?
7 kinds of mint.
7 kinds of mint she's used to. And Mihn has a lot of containers. There'll be something growing there. And it's something that I've never seen before, look like a grass shoot or some midget vegetable. And I'll say, what is that? And it's something that somebody brought over in their suitcase from Vietnam. And she planted it. And because a lot of things you just can't find here in the United States. So, Mihn, what would you like to say to anybody on the way out? Would you like to thank them and I hope they make good food, whatever you want to say.
Okay, I would like to say thank you everybody come to enjoy my show and my food, and I'm reset everybody love this, my CD, everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mihn.